Bible lists the descendants, when it came to Nimrod, the Bible stopped and it added information. It didn't just say Cush fathered Nimrod. It said Nimrod became a mighty hunter before the Lord, or Nimrod was the first one to be called mighty. It was just interesting to me that it stopped to tell us about Nimrod. Nimrod built many cities, and Nimrod has a bad name. When you talk to a lot of people, they say negative things about Nimrod because some of the cities that he built were Babylon, Nineveh, cities that were against God, or they had idol worship and just sinful cities. The other thing that I see about Nimrod is that Nimrod dared to be different. It just said that other people were being born, but it said that Nimrod became mighty. He dared to do something that his ancestors didn't do. He dared to do something that his neighbors didn't do. He dared to use the gifts and abilities that God gave him to accomplish something. And he didn't just accomplish something, he did it very well. He got a name, he developed a name for himself as he was building these cities. It said he was a mighty hunter, and maybe they had to hunt because there were wild animals in the area. So maybe in order to habitate a certain area, he had to do a lot of hunting, and he did it so well that he developed a name for it. And I'm just really impressed with Nimrod. Now, I can't say that Nimrod trusted God or worshiped God. Neither can I say that he didn't. I don't see enough information in the Bible to tell me that Nimrod either trusted God or that he didn't trust God. But I do see some great traits in Nimrod, and that's something that we all can look forward to. Whatever it is that we're gifted at, let's walk in that gift, and let's do the best that we can with that gift, and let's use that gift to help others. I also see that Nimrod didn't mind being different. It's okay if we're not all alike. God didn't create us to all be alike. God did not create us to all be great. He did not create us to all be average. He created each of us uniquely, and we can walk in that uniqueness and appreciate that uniqueness and use that uniqueness, whatever it is, to help others, to build society, to accomplish God's purpose, which is still be fruitful and multiply. He doesn't want us to just be fruitful and multiply physically, though. Now he wants us to be fruitful and multiply spiritually, to go and make disciples, to be fruitful and multiply, to help others to become Christ followers. Thank you for joining me. I love you. I love the Bible Discovery Zone because it's a place where ordinary people explore an extraordinary book, and I appreciate you taking the time with me. Oh, I didn't even tell you where we could read about Nimrod. You can read about Nimrod in Genesis chapter 10. It doesn't say a whole lot, but you can read in between the lines. So I've told you about Nimrod, but really, if you read the next chapter, if you go to Genesis chapter 11, it talks about when the Tower of Babel was built. And the Tower of Babel is where the languages of people got confused or changed, so that certain people spoke one language and other people spoke another, and their language was confused because they were trying to build a tower that went all the way up to heaven. Because instead of them making a name for God and glorifying God through what they did, they were doing this to make a name for themselves. They talked to each other and they said, let us build a city. Let us make a name for ourselves. And that city was Babel, but it didn't just say Nimrod said this and Nimrod led this. Because like I said, Nimrod has a bad name. There's a negative connotation to his name, and he may have been a bad person. But when we read it in Genesis chapter 11, there was a group. They were getting together. This was their decision together to make a name for themselves. Nimrod made a name for himself by being a mighty hunter before the Lord, by becoming mighty. But these others, they tried to make a name for themselves, and God confused their language. God did not allow them to be successful. I just thought that we should include that in our discussion of Nimrod, because I'm sure that he led in the building project for that tower, but he wasn't by himself. We can learn from Nimrod, and we can appreciate the struggles that he must have had, and we can learn from those. We could be a better leader from what we can learn from Nimrod.